All right, Thursday morning yoga. Let's begin in a comfortable seat. Interesting, I feel like my computer listens to my thoughts because on my YouTube this morning, the video recommended for today was 2 simple questions to silence negative thoughts. And this one was by a man named Anthony Metivier on TEDx. And he said there are 2 simple questions to help neutralize your thoughts. 1, are my thoughts useful? 2, how do my thoughts behave? Are my thoughts useful? How do they behave? And he got to this from a long journey of going through different addictions and antidepressants and trying to find ways to get the chatter of the mind to quiet down. And interestingly, the way that he finally got to that place of contentment was through meditation and through deep stages of meditation. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which is basically the guidebook on how to practice yoga, it talks about the last 3 limbs of the 8 limbs of yoga. And it's grouped together, these 3 limbs are grouped together in a Sanskrit word called samyama. And samyama includes 3 stages of meditation. The first stage is concentration, and the Sanskrit word is dharana. The next stage is meditation, dhyana. And then the last stage of it is merging to become one with the focus of meditation, and that's samadhi. And it's sort of an effortless living in a state of meditation. So I want to end with 3 important quotes by a guru who brought transcendental meditation from India to the West back in the 60s, I believe. His name is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And he talks about the power to transcend the mind and what kind of power that actually brings. Consciousness is the basis of all life and the field of all possibilities. Its nature is to expand and unfold its full potential. The impulse to evolve is thus inherent in the very nature of life. He says, whatever we put our attention on will grow stronger in our life. And as brain functioning becomes more and more integrated, consciousness, the mind, becomes more and more invincible, transcending thought. And then any dictate of the mind is immediately followed by the body. The Yoga Sutras themselves in the 3rd chapter goes through a list of what's called siddhis. And they're basically what we might refer to as supernormal powers that naturally occur as you transcend the mind and go into deeper stages of meditation, being one with pure consciousness, that infinite being that is each of us, according to yoga philosophy. And while those siddhis are not the goal, and they include things like exceptional mind-body control, clairvoyance, psychokinesis, telepathy is within that realm. There's a list of many things. Well, being able to do those things is not the goal. It just shows that there are infinite possibilities when we can tame the mind and being in a state of transcending it. So how does the physical practice of yoga, the asanas, help with that? We'll begin to cultivate synchronization of mind, body, breath, honing on the mental focus that's necessary in the first stage of meditation, concentration. And then we'll sit at the end for a few minutes, touching upon meditation. But I do want to let you know that starting July, I'm going to offer 10 minutes extra of meditation at the end of our Friday afternoon classes for those of us who want to stay that extra time afterwards. So, how can we empower ourselves through our practice of yoga? As you sit tall, feel what you are sitting on. And really root yourself physically. Feel a sense of centeredness in your physical body as you lift the spine, and even draw the navel center in slightly, lift it up. And then take a moment to roll the shoulders forward and up as you take a deeper breath in. Back and down as you exhale through the mouth. A few rounds of breath like that. Beginning to expand more consciously with the inhalation down to the pit of your belly. So you're using your diaphragm to fill up the belly, to fill up the lungs, to lift the chest. But you're consciously relaxing the shoulders as you grow a little taller through the center of your spine. And then release the shoulder blades down, broaden the collarbone, sit tall from down. So we're gonna again begin with Bhastrika, bellows breath. I'm trying to make this a habit so that we can see the effects of practicing it long term. And I've been doing it each morning. I hope that you integrate it in some way. I'll demonstrate very quickly. As you sit tall with the shoulders relaxed, the elbows are bent apart to begin with hands like fists. And as you take a deep inhale, the mouth is closed, the arms raise up, the fingers spread, and an equally deep exhale through the nose, the elbows bent apart. It's rhythmic like this. So equal in breath, equal out breath, creating heat in the body, clearing the lungs, clearing the mind. So I'm gonna watch the clock for 1 minute and do the best that you can. You can always come back to just deep breathing, slow. So if you're gonna start Bhastrika, bend the elbows out to the sides, and let's begin. You may want to close your eyes and steady your gaze right between the eyebrows. Finishing this breath, release the hands, close your eyes, breathe naturally, and just observe for a moment. What are you choosing to focus your attention and thus energy on throughout this practice and into your day so that you create more of that in your life? Bringing the hands together at your heart, setting your intention. As you close the lips, let's cultivate Ujjayi Pranayama, a slow, steady breath through the nose while softly narrowing the back of your throat to create a gentle whisper. Let's make our way down to our backs, lying on the floor with the knees bent. Stepping the left foot on the mat. Pick up your right foot and turn out your right leg, crossing the ankle over your left thigh like a figure four. Flexing the right foot, thread your right hand between your thighs, catching hold of your left leg, perhaps the thigh. With two hands, start to bring the left leg closer to your belly while resting your head and shoulders on the ground. Feel the natural curvature of your neck. Deep inhale. Let the collarbones broaden, the belly gently expand. Slow exhale. Now as your legs come closer to you, you might nudge your right inner thigh to splay open. Let's take 2 last breaths here. Now keep the cross of your legs, open your arms wide like a T, set the left foot on the ground and scoot your pelvis slightly closer to the right edge of your mat. Now keeping that same figure 4 shape in your legs, right ankle against left thigh. Just drop the left leg all the way down to the left, keeping the right shoulder on the ground, so that you're standing the right foot on the floor, the right knee is pointing up towards the ceiling. And then with your left hand placed on the very top of your left inner thigh that's close to the groin, gently press that inner left thigh away from your belly and towards the opposite edge of your mat, the front edge. And breathing in here, hear the breath balance. So right foot is flat on the ground, right knee is bent up towards the ceiling, and left leg is completely splayed out to the left. Knee is bent. Let's take one more deep breath. Just creating more space throughout the lower back as you traction the spine. Now begin to lift the legs. Stepping right foot on the ground, let's switch the left ankle over your right thigh and flex the left foot. With your left hand threading between the thighs, catch hold of your right leg with 2 hands and begin to bring it closer to your belly while relaxing your head and shoulders on the ground. Deep breath in, slow breath out, lips closed. And now with your left forearm or elbow, you could gently nudge your left inner thigh to splay open as you bring the right leg closer. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here. Now keeping the same exact shape of your legs, step the right foot back onto the mat. Open the arms wide like a T. Especially ground the left shoulder as you drop the right leg out to the right so that the sole of your left foot is stepping on the floor and your left knee is bent up towards the ceiling. Now pick up your right hand and place it on the very top inner side of your left thigh, close to your groin, and gently press that part of your thigh away from your belly. Breathing in, breathing out, gently tractioning your lower spine. Now, if there's any part of your body that's definitely asking for your attention, maybe close your eyes and visualize breathing into that space, having a kind, loving conversation with it through the breath. Let's take one more breath here. Then roll back to center. Catch hold of your 2 bent knees with your hands and begin to slowly rotate your thighs wide apart. Deep breath in. Circle them back together, exhaling. And then just any direction you want to move the thigh bones at the hip sockets, lubricating the hip joints and massaging your lower back. Then as you catch hold of your shins or the backs of your thighs, round into a ball and rock yourself in any direction, like side to side or forward and back a few times. Other ways to massage the back against the floor. But eventually, making your way up to come down to hands and knees, facing the front of your mat. Let's start a few rounds of cat-cow with your wrists a couple inches in front of your shoulders. Fingers spread and knees directly under your hips. On the in-breath, slowly stretch the spine forward, then coil your chest up, contracting mostly right under your shoulder blades. On the out-breath, hollow the belly by contracting the abdomen, so the tailbone tucks under your body as you drop the head to round. Take a few more slow cycles of Betalasana, Sanskrit for cat-cow. You might like to add other organic motion, like swiveling the hips left and right, or looking over the shoulder to stretch the neck. As you spread your fingers wide and flat, see that your index fingers are both facing forward, parallel to each other, the thumbs reaching towards each other, and your weight is evenly distributed through every knuckle of your palm, out through each finger pad, so that on your next exhalation, you tuck the toes and lift your hips high into downward facing dog. When you arrive in downward dog, separate the feet a little wider than hips width. Ground through the palms, lift the shoulders up away from the neck. Then on an in-breath, bend your left knee, turn out your right leg, pivot the toes out, and press the right heel to the mat. Look underneath your right armpit towards the sky and draw the right hip towards the rear of your mat. Take a full breath here. Now let's switch sides. Bend the right knee a lot. Turn out your left leg, spinning the toes out as you drop the heel. Look under your left armpit towards the sky, and then relax the neck. Soften the jaw. Drawing the left hip back. As you come back to center, any way that you might want to shift around or be still, take a few more breaths. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Then step your left foot directly between your hands. Pivot your feet to face the wide edge of your mat so that you are in a wide-legged forward fold. The feet are parallel. Crawl your fingertips forward to lift your spine halfway up. Imagine pressing your heart through the gates of your arms here. Engage the belly, square the hips, then exhale to fold. Placing your one hand on your sacrum, cross the opposite hand to the outside of the opposite leg. Outer ankle, outer calf. And then try to level out your hips as you spiral the chest towards the leg you're reaching for. Lift the shoulders away from the neck. Now let's switch sides. Place that hand on your sacrum, the lower back, and cross the opposite hand to the opposite leg. Coming into a spinal twist, level out the hips, rotate the chest, and drop your skull. Deep breath. Now as you come back to center, bend your knees a lot. Bring your hands to your hips, bending the elbows towards the sky, firming the belly in. Lead with your chest and inhale to slowly rise all the way up. Now we're going to turn into a breath-led movement. Open the arms wide. Keep the feet as they are. You could bend the knees slightly. Breathe in and stretch the spine. Breathe out and twist towards one leg and fold, maybe catching the outer ankle or calf again. Inhale, rise up, back to center. Exhale to the other side, twist at your waistline, then fold, maybe catching the outer leg. On your own, take about 2 more cycles of breath. 2 more on each side. Exhale to twist and fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale, twist and fold. Feel the support of your legs as you engage the fronts of your thighs, your quadriceps, stabilizing. And when you finished an equal number on both sides, let's come up to stand at the very top of your mats. Separating the feet hips width apart and parallel. Bend your knees, sink your weight back towards your heels, and extend your arms forward in chair pose. As the palms face each other, wrap the triceps downward and press the shoulders away from the neck. A few breaths here. Now, as you glide your weight back towards your heels, look down and see that you can see your toes. They might be lifting off the mat. Then feel your belly engage. So the bottom of your front ribs are sealing in towards the back of your body as you lengthen the tailbone downward. Lift the heart and gaze forward for one more breath in. Modified chair pose. Then shift your weight forward and exhale to folds. Press onto your legs and breathe in to lift the chest. Look ahead of you. Plant your hands flat on the floor and step into plank pose. Let's pause for about 3 breaths. So as you stack the shoulders right above your wrists, gaze past your hands and lengthen your neck. Lift the sides of your waist. Then on an exhale, glide forward, bend the elbows to graze your side ribs, and come all the way down. Pointing the toes firmly on the ground, inhale into cobra and soften the shoulder blades down your back, lifting the chest. Press down to your hands, tuck the toes, engage the belly, then lift the hips back into downward facing dog. A few breaths. Downward dog, inhale, raise the right leg behind you. Pause here, take a few breaths to feel your 2 hips level out. Look under your belly and see the right toes flexing towards the ground. Imagine the right heel pressing towards the wall at the rear of the mat. Draw your left outer hip back too, and feel equal lengthening on both sides of your torso and neck. Press down through both hands and breathe in. Now, as you exhale, slowly round the spine as you shift forward to plank, bending knee to nose. Pause there and hover, breathe in, and see if you can lift the navel a little higher before very softly landing the foot just inside of your right hand. Then lower your back knee and untuck the toes. As you firm down to the right foot, still lift the arms overhead to rise up. Now feel rooting down actively through both of your feet, even the top of your left foot, and the lifting up from tailbone to the top of your head. Hips equally facing forward. With your right hand, take hold of your left wrist. Then lift up both sides of your waist while softening the shoulders down. Breathing in here. Now keep the right leg still and begin to side bend to your right. Where you are, breathe in and lift the spine a bit more from the pelvis. As you exhale, laterally reach further. About 3 more breaths. Feel the stability of your 2 legs, energetically hugging the center line of your body. Now, as you breathe out, lift the torso up, and then place your fingertips on the inside of your right leg, tuck the back toes. We're coming into a half squat, Skindasana. So from your left hip socket, turn out your entire left leg so that you can face the left edge of your mat, making sure the left knee and the left middle toe turn out the same amount. So hands are at the left edge of your mat now. Bending the right knee, feel that you're aligning it with the right middle toe as well. As you sink the pelvis, straighten the left leg, and lean on the heel of your left foot as you flex the foot. Allowing the pelvis to sink here, roll the shoulders down the back, lift the heart, and let's take 2 more breaths in Skindasana. If your balance feels pretty steady or your hips feel pretty open, you could join the hands in prayer here. 1 more deep breath. Now, place your hands on the ground and rotate the left leg inward back to that lunge. Make sure knee and toes are turning in the same direction. Plant your hands on the floor and step back to plank pose. In plank pose, breathe in. Exhale, glide forward, hug the elbows towards your side ribs through Chaturanga. Cobra or upward facing dog, breathe in and firm the tops of your feet into the ground as you coil the chest. Engage the belly. Exhale, lift your tailbone high and draw your weight back to downward facing dog. A few breaths. Now, as you keep the 2 hips balanced, inhale, raise the left leg behind you. Let's take a few breaths here. Look under your belly and see that your left toes are flexed downward. Imagine the left heel is pressing against a wall at the rear of your mat. Now draw your right outer hip back too, and equally lengthen both sides of your body. Take another breath in. Contract the belly as you exhale to round forward in plank, as if trying to kiss your left knee. Pause there and hover. Breathe in. Lift the navel a little higher. Then exhale, softly land left foot inside of left hand and lower the right knee, untucking the toes. Firm your left foot still and lift your arms as you rise up into a kneeling lunge. Now feel the weight of both of your feet as you press into the earth. Lift up from your pelvic floor through each vertebra up to the crown of your head. Relax the shoulders down, and with your left hand, take hold of your right wrist. Lift the sides of your waist as you breathe in. Keep the left leg steady and exhale. Begin to side bend to the left. Pause where you are as you breathe in. Keep lifting the lower spine from your pelvis. Leg stable. Exhale, side bend further. About 3 more breaths of that. Relaxing any tension that might creep up in the face and the shoulders, but keeping the center engaged. On your next inhale, rise up. Place your fingertips on the ground inside of your left foot. Tuck the right toes and straighten the right leg. Coming into a half squat, rotate your right leg from the hip socket so that the knee and toes follow, and crawl your hands to right edge of your mat. You're in a half squat. The left leg is turned out, in which the knee and middle toe point the same degree. Sinking the hips, your hands can be on the ground or blocks, or if your balance feels pretty steady here, join your hands at your heart. Flex the right foot. Press the right heel towards the ground. Lifting from the heart to the crown. Let's take one more breath. Now plant the hands in front of you again and crawl them to the front of your mat. From the hip socket, rotate the entire right leg to come back to a lunge. This time stepping forward to the top of your mat so that your feet touch. With an inhale, rise forward and find length throughout your spine. As you exhale, bow in. Pressing down through your feet, inhale, sweep the arms, feel the engagement of the belly to rise. Gaze up as the palms meet. Exhale your hands together at your heart. Let's take a variation of Sun Salutation D. Semi-flow into a moving meditation. With feet touching and knees touching, bend your knees together and sink your weight towards your heels. Inhale the arms up in chair pose. Shifting forward, exhale to fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine halfway up. Either step to plank to lower or lightly jump to chaturanga. With an inhale, lift the heart in cobra or upward facing dog. Engaging the belly, lift the hips to downward facing dog. Inhale, raise the right leg behind you, keeping the hips leveled. Exhale, bend knee to nose. Step the foot forward to a high lunge so your feet are hips width apart and parallel. Press down to your feet and rise up with arms overhead in crescent lunge. Just a couple of breaths here in the semi-flow. Bending the front knee over the heel, drawing the right hip back. You could bend the left knee to help align the pelvis upright. Now join your hands to your heart center. Slide your right foot a few inches to the left and spin the back heel down into Warrior Two. As your chest completely faces the left wall, spread your wings, open the arms, and maybe sink the pelvis a little deeper while lifting up to your heart and your crown. Take another breath in. Then join your hands together at your heart and straighten the right leg. Turn out the left leg. We've done this already, Skandasana. Bend the left knee in the same direction of the middle toe and flex the right toes off the floor as you sink the hips. Feel the turnout in both legs. Another breath in. Then switch. Bend the right knee, curl the left toes up, and sink the hips. Take another breath in. Rotate the left leg from the hip socket. With an exhalation, lower from plank into your choice of vinyasa. Inhaling as you lift the heart. Exhaling back to downward facing. Take a deep breath in. Let's clear it out through the mouth. Closing the lips again. Inhale, raise the left leg. Balance the two hips. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose. Round forward and lightly step into a high lunge. Feet or hips width apart, parallel. Press down to your feet and rise up to crescent lunge. Just a couple of breaths here. Bend the front knee just over the heel. Draw the left hip slightly back. You could bend the right knee to help align your pelvic bowl more upright. Now join your hands together at your heart. Turn to your right, spinning the back heel down and sliding the left foot a few inches to the right, aligning left heel to arch of right foot. Turn your chest to face the right wall and open the arms in warrior two. And now as you might sink a little deeper into it, lift the chest, lift the spine, and take one more breath. Straightening the legs, bring your hands to your heart and turn out your right leg from the hip, bending the right knee and sinking the hips in Skandasana. Curl the left toes up. Feel the strength of your inner thighs to balance. Breathe in here. Then switch. Bend the left knee and curl the right toes up, sinking the hips but lifting the heart. Breathe in here. Rotate right leg from the hip socket to face the front of your mat in a lunge. Stepping to plank, exhale to lower. Your choice of vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog, taking 3 to 5 breaths. Feeling the depth of your inhalation. Match the release of your exhalation. As you tune into the sound of your breathing at the back of your throat with lips closed. At the bottom of your exhalation, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. With feet touching in a forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold. With knees touching, inhale, sit low in chair pose. Then exhale to rise up. So now in a continuous breath-led movement, try to move at your own pace of breath as much as possible. Let's take a round of the sequence we just practiced. From mountain pose, inhale to chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, step back or float back to lower. Inhale to cobra or upward. Exhale to downward. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, step it forward, high lunge. Inhale, rise up to crescent pose. To your left, exhale, open up to warrior two. Straighten the legs, turn out the left leg. Inhale, bend the left knee, Skandasana. Exhale, switch, bend the right knee, Skandasana. Inhale, turn to face the front in a lunge, plank. Exhale, lower, your choice of vinyasa. Deep breath in. Exhale, downward facing. Second side, inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, step it forward to a high lunge. Inhale, rise to crescent pose. To the right side, exhale, open up, warrior two. Straighten the left leg, turn out the right leg. Inhale, bend the right knee in Skandasana. Exhale, switch, bend the left knee, Skandasana. Inhale, face the front in a lunge, plank pose. Exhale, lower, vinyasa. Listen to the sound of your breath. Taking a few breaths in downward facing dog. Now with very bent knees, look ahead of your hands. Bottom of the exhalation, lightly land your feet to touch. Breathe in to lengthen your spine forward. Breathe out to fold. Bend the knees to touch. Inhale to chair pose. Join your hands at your heart to prepare for a twist. Now keeping the knees in one line, lengthen the spine with each inhale. At your waistline, twist to your right, turning the rib cage with each exhale. Sinking the hips so they stay lower than your heart. Let's take about 4 more breaths. Optional to use your left arm to press against your outer right thigh, or even to move into a twisting crow arm balance if you're itching for that. Notice the quality of your breathing and your power to direct it to help steady your mind's focus. Last breath here in Parita Utkatasana. Sinking your hips, inhale through center in chair pose. Exhale, rise tall in mountain pose. Place your left hand on your heart, place your right hand on your lower belly, and close your eyes for one long breath. Feel your feet connecting. Open your eyes, bend your mind. At your waistline, exhale, twist to the left, little by little with each breath. Keeping your heart higher than your hips. You might use the leverage of right arm against left thigh, or start to move into the arm balance, revolved crow. Whatever your variation, let's take about 4 more breaths. Watch the mind here. Sinking your hips, inhale the arms up, back to chair pose. Press down to your feet, exhale to rise up. Now we're gonna open up the shoulders a bit with Gomukhasana arms like this. So if you think you wanna use a strap or something like it, reach for that. And separate your feet hips width apart at the top of your mat. Keeping your hips facing forward, step the left foot back, almost as far as you did in a lunge, but a slightly shorter stance, pressing both heels onto the floor. Now, if you have a strap, raise your left arm and hang the strap from your left hand behind you. Bend your left elbow behind the center of your head so your left palm lands between your shoulder blades. If you don't have a strap, you can hold your shirt there. Reach the right hand underneath behind you, catch hold of the strap, the shirt, or see if you can walk your hands closer together, they might clasp. Now spread your toes, engage the fronts of your thighs, engage your belly, steady your hips to face forward, and lift and lengthen your spine as you breathe in to coil your chest up. Exhale, continue to lengthen your spine as you hinge forward towards your inner right shin. Pause. Inhale, draw the right hip slightly back, re-leveling the hips as you stretch the spine further forward. Keep firming the belly in as you exhale to fold a little more. So breath by breath, on your own, exploring the range of this forward fold called pyramid pose, or Uttita Parshvattanasana, in a way that honors length in your spine by opening the throat, broadening the chest. Feel the stability through both of your legs. Let's take one more breath here. Now look forward as you lift the spine parallel to the floor. Engage the belly, engage the legs. Place the left hand down either on your right shin, the ground on the left of your right foot, or on the right of your right foot. Maybe you're using a block. Use your right thumb and hook the outer crease of your right outer hip back, just to re-level the hips again, like you could balance a book across your sacrum. Then stretch the spine from the pelvis as you draw the shoulders away from the neck. Engage the belly and rotate the chest without rotating the pelvis to face the right wall. Then you might raise the right arm if your balance feels pretty stable. If your right arm is lifted, the right palm is facing the right wall. And you're reaching up through your right fingertips to help open the right collarbone from your sternum. Drawing both shoulder blades down your back. Continue to stabilize outer hips firming towards the midline. And see if you can twist for a couple more breaths here, turning the rib cage, opening the heart space. Now look at your right foot. Crawl your fingertips 1 foot ahead of your right foot and come into modified warrior 3. Put a little bend in the right knee and flex the left foot. Keep the hips leveled, lift the left heel back to the height of your left hip. Like we did in downward dog, look under your belly at your left toes and see that they're all facing the floor. Then imagine your left heel is pressing against a wall at the rear of your mat. Then open your chest and look past the floor right under you. Imagine there's a string pulling the center of your heart way past the front edge of your mat. Lengthen both sides of the torso and maybe 1 or 3 more breaths before you stand with both feet in forward fold. Maybe you lift the arms, maybe you reach them forward. When you decide, both feet on the floor, hips distance, and bowing over your legs. Take a few breaths there. You might like to bend the knees a lot, release the neck by shaking the head or swaying the spine. If there's any added tension in the mouth, flutter the lips out or take a lion's breath, sticking out the tongue. Now as you recultivate that warm Ujjayi breath through the nose, grab your strap if you're using it for the second side and sweep the arms as you inhale to rise. Mountain pose. Step the right foot back almost as far as the high lunge, slightly shorter stance, so both heels are on the floor, hips are still squared, legs are straight. Engage the front of your thighs as you press down through all the soles of your feet. Raise the right arm, hanging the strap behind you if you're using one. Bend the right elbow behind the center of your head so your right palm lands between your shoulder blades. You could hold the shirt instead if you like. Reach the left hand under. Bring the hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp. Then firming down through your feet, firming in through your belly. Lengthen your spine. Inhale, coil your chest up. Exhale, lean forward, hinging from the hips just a little bit, then pause. Ground the feet, square the hips, and stretch the spine forward as you breathe in. Exhale to fold another little bit as you breathe out. Taking your time, breath by breath. Feel the openness you maintain at the front of your neck, cross your collarbones throughout your spine. Pyramid pose. Let's take one more breath here. Now engaging the legs and belly, breathe in to lift the spine parallel to the floor. Set the right hand down on your left shin, on the right side of your front foot, or on the left side for a deeper twist. Place the left thumb on the outer crease of your left hip to draw it back slightly and level out the hips like you could balance a book across your sacrum. Breathe in and stretch your spine down the midline of your mat. Breathe out and center the twist at your waistline, turning your chest to the left. Little by little, exploring the range of your twist, you might add raising the left arm up. If your left arm is up, palm is facing the left wall. Reach up through your left fingertips and trace that all the way down to your left collarbone, that expansion of the left side of your chest. Let's take 2 more breaths here in revolved triangle pose, Parita Trikonasana. Now look down at your left toes, walk your 2 hands 1 foot in front of it, look past your hands, bend the left knee. Keep the hips squared and tilt forward to flex the right foot off the ground, lifting the heel to the height of the right hip. Look under your belly at your right toes and see that they're all facing the ground, and tack your left outer hip back. Now you might lift a finger or more, whatever variation, but spot the ground ahead of you rather than right under you to help lengthen the spine also parallel to the floor. Maybe another breath or few, and we'll meet again with 2 feet hips distance in a standing forward fold. This time, when you arrive in that forward fold, parallel the feet, bend the knees as much as necessary, and lift your toes to slip your palms face up under the soles of your feet to stretch your outer wrists and forearms in Padahastasana. Tilting your weight forward, breathe in and lift the chest like you're pressing your heart through the gates of your arms. Breathe out and hinge from your hips, letting the head fall. Now, if you can do this, try bending the elbows apart and lifting the shoulder bones away from your neck while completely dropping your head. That's a nice way to open up space in the neck where you could also softly shake and nod your head. Let's try the half fold one more time. Inhale, lift the heart, create space between ears and shoulders. Keep that space and exhale, fold in. Continue to tilt your weight forward. A few breaths. Padahastasana. Slip the palms out from underneath. Press to your feet. Inhale, sweep the arms to rise all the way up to stand. Join the hands together at your heart. Let your feet come together to touch as we play with one more balancing pose, standing. As you place your left hand on your left hip, keep the bowl shape of your pelvis upright, balancing the height of both hips. Feel the center contained. Steady your gaze on something ahead. As you listen to your breath, shift your weight onto your left foot and spread your toes. Raise the right knee in front of you and flex the foot. Catch hold of the outer knee with your right hand, or if you want to straighten the right leg to some degree, bring the right arm inside of your right thigh. Grab a strap to lasso the foot, or clasp the big toe and extend the leg forward just the amount that your right shoulder can stay in the shoulder socket. As you balance the 2 hips, balance the 2 shoulders on top of them. Now turning out the right leg, first externally rotate your femur. Then begin to open the right leg slowly as you open the left arm to counterbalance. Now only turn out the right leg or open it the amount that your spine can be upright. So you keep the center line of your body a focus. Inseam of your left leg, up your navel, up your heart center, up your throat center, up through the crown of your head. And then exhaling back down. Taking one more breath here in what's called hand to big toe pose, or in Sanskrit, Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana. Bring the right leg in front of you. Now, whatever degree you're straightening that right leg, keep flexing the foot, lift your pelvic floor, and raise the arms overhead for 3 breaths, like boat pose. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, relax something. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, 2. Smile, this is the last breath. And then set the right foot down to touch the left. Release your arms. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Spread your weight onto the 4 corners of your right foot. Engage the muscles of right leg. 2 hips leveled, bend the left knee and flex the foot. Catch the outer knee with your left hand, or bring the left arm inside of your leg and either lasso the foot or clasp the big toe. To whatever degree you straighten the left leg, make sure the left shoulder stays in its socket. 2 shoulders are leveled above 2 leveled hips. Steady your breath as you turn out the left leg. Then open it. Open the right arm too. Adjusting your leg so that your spine, the center line of your body, is honored. Imagine breathing from the ground inside of your right heel, up the inseam of your right leg, tracing this midline of your body up to your crown. Exhaling down that pathway. Let's take one more breath here in Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana. Bring the left leg forward to whatever degree you can straighten it. Lift your pelvic floor from down to the right foot and raise your arms, but relax the shoulders. 3 breaths. Breathe in, heart lifted. Exhale, 3. Standing tall, breathe in. Exhale, 2. Last breath. Exhale, step the left foot down. Inhale, arms by your sides, then circle them overhead. Palms meet in a gentle back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift the chest and lengthen forward. Exhale, step to plank and pause. Feel the alignment in plank. Strong mountain pose in the midline of your body. Triceps rotating towards the rear of the mat. Shoulder blades broadening across the upper back as the belly is strong and lifted. Take that all with you as you very slowly, maybe take a few breaths, lower forward through four-limb staff or Chaturanga Dandasana, all the way to the ground. And once you land, point your toes back, come into Sphinx pose. Slide the elbows slightly in front of your shoulders so that your forearms are parallel in front of your chest. Your chest is lifted. Take a few breaths here, in and out through the nose, and feel your knees come closer together. Root down your pubic bone and actively lengthen your tailbone down the center line of your body towards your inner heels. With the shoulders relaxing down, lift the heart. Then cross your left forearm on the floor in front of your chest, keeping the heart lifted. Bend your right knee. Backstroke your right arm to open the inside of your right shoulder as you catch hold of the big toe side of your right ankle or foot. With your knees no wider apart than your hips distance, reground your pubic bone. And for a few breaths, bring your right heel slightly towards the outside of your right hip. Feel both of your frontal hip bones on the floor. Both of your shoulders relaxing down as you lift the heart. Feel the softness in your face. Deep. Come back to Sphinx with both elbows on the mat. And lift the heart, relax the neck. Second side, knees close together to start. Cross the right forearm in front of your chest on the floor. Bend your left knee. Backstroke your left arm. Open the inner shoulder. Catch hold of the big toe side of left ankle or foot. Knees no wider apart than hips distance. Reground your 2 frontal hip bones. Bring the left heel slightly to the outside of your left hip. Feel the support of your right forearm on the floor in front of your chest so that your chest can completely face forward as the shoulders slide down. For 2 more breaths. The end of this exhalation, lower your forehead to the ground and prepare for one last heart opening back bend. We're going to begin in locust Shalabhasana, which is great for strengthening the lower back. And then you'll have the option to transition right into bow Dhanurasana, catching hold of both feet. So start by pressing the tops of your feet firmly on the ground with legs straight back. Keep your legs parallel the whole posture. Coil your chest up, lifting the head gently as you look slightly down. So overall, take 5 to 10 breaths. Arms reaching back, lift the legs. You're in Shalabhasana. If you want to add Dhanurasana, bend both knees and catch your outer feet, kicking the legs towards straight as you pull your feet. Keep the knees no wider apart than hips distance. Feel that you're not cranking the neck. You decide how many breaths longer before you land to rest. When you come down to rest, you might like to shimmy the hips side to side and take deep belly breaths, exhaling through the mouth, or maybe even swing the shins together side to side to further release the lower back of any tension. In through the nose, expand the belly against the floor. Out through the mouth, cooling down. Then as you feel ready, plant your hands alongside your floating ribs. Press up to all fours, and we're going to take a brief other kind of thread the needle to open the upper back. Lift the left arm up towards the sky as you inhale. Exhale, slide it under your right bent elbow and rest the left side of your head all the way down. If your head doesn't meet the floor easily, put something under your head. By flaring the right elbow up off the ground, you have more control of your balance by rooting down to your right fingertips. Level your two hips, same principles of twisting just at your waistline, and allow the rib cage to gently rotate. While broadening across your upper back, maybe direct your breath there. Let's take one more deep breath, a long exhalation here before pressing the ground to rise up back to all fours. And second side, inhale, raise the right arm up. Exhale, thread it under the left bent elbow. Rest the right side of your head all the way down. Feel free to use a prop under your head. By lifting the left elbow off the ground, stabilize your balance with your left fingertips and level out your two hips, centering the twist at your waistline. Center your breath across your upper back, relaxing the shoulders down it. Let's take one more very long exhalation in this pose. Press your way up to sit and bring the legs in front of you, bending the knees wide apart in Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Soles of the feet together close to your pelvis. Catching hold of your outer feet or big toes, root through your sitting bones and rebound a lift through the heart to your crown. Broaden the chest, then extend the heart forward as you exhale to bow, pausing as you breathe in to reground the pelvis and lengthen the spine from it. Maybe crawling the hands forward. Let's take about 3 more breaths. You might offer your breath into your sacrum, where this posture helps to open, and down into your hips. Now, with the help of your hands crawling towards you, lead with your chest to breathe in and rise. Take your last posture before Shavasana that you choose. If you want a cooling inversion, lift the legs up by lying down. They could be up in the air like shoulder stand or like an L shape. Or you might choose to sit with the legs straight in front of you, feet flexed into a forward fold, keeping the spine long with space in the chest, the neck, the shoulders. So whatever this last posture before Shavasana, give yourself 5 to 10 breaths in it before you start to wind down to rest. Let your body be comfortable as you find a position to rest in. Closing your eyes. Scan your body mentally. And just giving parts of your body permission to let go. Parts that you know that you might habitually hold tension in. As you finish that scan, feel the natural flow of your breath, letting go of control as you feel the joy of loving surrender. And now, through the physical practice of yoga, having sharpened your mental focus, choose to either stay in Shavasana for the last 2 minutes or to gently lift your body up to sit in meditation. Depending on where you're at in the meditation experience or practice, you might choose a focal point for your mind, whether your breath, a sound consistent and gentle in the background, or your intention simplified into an emotion. Feel your breath in, enliven your physical body. Feel your breath out. If you're still lying down, gently lift your body up to sit. Let your palms meet at your heart as you lift it and bow in to honor the light, the pure consciousness that is you, remembering the words of Maharishi. Consciousness is the basis of all life and the field of all possibilities. Its nature is to expand and unfold its full potential. The impulse to evolve is thus inherent in the very nature of life. Let's close with one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.